Brendan Schaub caught lying again. So he went on a podcast and talked about the story of him saving three kids from a car wreck. Now I'm going to play this, and then afterwards, I'm going to prove that he lied with witness testimony to this car wreck. But I mean, we're going to discuss a lot about what he had to say and the lies in this video. But let's go ahead and see what Liar had to say. Our hero.
It does mess you up, your psyche up a little bit. Like I was pretty messed up. After that, I met friends for dinner, and I still had blood on my shirt, and I didn't even notice. And like the food came, like, yeah, blood on your shirt. I'm like, holy shit! And then that's when I think it hit me. And I really didn't talk the rest of the night. But I think the thing that affected me more was, I always think about my kids and like if they were in that situation. So that's what really messed me up. Because for those of you that don't know, this guy, this horrible person, went the opposite way on the 101 and loaded up his family, I think 4 kids and his wife, and drove head on into an 18-wheeler truck. And all the kids survived and his dumbass survived, but the wife died in the front. And then they had I didn't know this, I spoke to the family afterwards. He had a horrible just rap sheet of domestic violence, like he was horrible to her, and this was the thing. But seeing the kids, yeah, it was tough one. And the only reason I was on my way to dinner, I'm in fucking jeans and Gucci boots, man. I look like an asshole. And then I see this little kid waving cars down. It just happened right in front of us. And I was like, and it looked just like my son in a tank top. Almost identical, same age, everything. And he's on top of the car, which is badass to think about. He's waving cars down. No one's stopping. I'm like, this is nuts. And I go, I'm going to pull over. My girl's like, no, we don't know. I'm like, I'm pulling over, man. So, and my father-in-law's a CHP, and he was a cop too. So he always tells me, like, the side of the highway is the most dangerous area in the world. Don't pull over on the side of the highway. Try and get off an exit. So I had that in my mind. My girl's in the car. And then I'm in my favorite car. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to lose my favorite car. And my girl's to be a nightmare. But it was kind of out of the way. But then I was like, for these kids, somebody has to do something. So then I just take off sprinting towards the 18-wheeler. And I'm running. I thought it was water. I'm running through, and then I smell it's gas. Because we hit the 18-wheeler, and 18-wheelers have big gas tanks. Uh-huh. There's gas, like a Die Hard movie, all over the ground. And then I don't know if it's true or not, but based off action movies in the 90s, if there's like a spark, that thing goes up, like a fucking, like crazy. So I'm like, oh my God, this is awful. So I get through that. And then when I get to the car, that little boy's like, I go, who else is in the car? And he's like, my brother's in the car. I go, how many? He goes, 3. All right. And the door's all messed up. And then I go, okay, who else? And he's like, my mom's in the front. I'm like, all right. In my head, I'm like, I'm going to get the mom first to help me with the kids because nobody else is around. There was one Mexican dude there didn't speak English, and because the door was dented, he couldn't open it up, but he's built like, SpongeBob SquarePants, like fat body, skinny arms. He's like, yay, like trying to rip it off. And I was like, hey, move out the way. I'll take it from here. But I was like, let me get the mom because she can calm the kids down. And I was like, hey, mom. And I go to look in, and I mean, you're talking brains, like fully open, like horrible. And I was like, oh no. And then I'm like, these poor kids. This kid was, I don't know, man, probably 8, and he's in a child seat, and he's in shock. He's going, I don't want to die. I'm like, you're not going to die, buddy. Not going to die. But I can't get the door open, so I broke the glass through, and then I pull him through. And to make myself not cry, to make a joke, he was thick. So, like, the glass, like, cut his jeans and stuff. Like, he was too thick to get through the door, to the glass. And I'm like, God, how old are you? He's all 8. I'm like, Jesus Christ, maybe he's on the beans and cheese burritos, buddy. So I get him out. I'm just trying to make myself laugh at this point so I don't cry on this pod. So I get him out, and then I get his brothers out. And I'm holding the one in shock. And he's like, Mama. And then he wants to go to his mom, but I grab him. I'm home like this. And I'm trying to think of things that kids are into. And it just came, I'm like, I was thinking of a movie. I'm like, you like Moana? Like, that's your shit, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, what's your favorite song from Moana? And then I see a lady come, and there's one more kid left in the car. And I hand her the bigger kid, and she was like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, right. And I go, again, just trying to make myself laugh. No, it's good. I hate to be comical on a horrible situation, but I go, there's gas everywhere. Get this kid and go that way. And she goes, no, my car's that way. please trust me. Go that way. And she's Mexican too, so her English wasn't great. And I go, the kids can't see the mom. They'll never be the same. And it's not like it's not like the mom where you'd have to really look in there. Like you look in there, it's game set match for those kids. So I said, grab the kid, go that way and around. And she goes, see, and he grabs the kid, and then I get the other two kids out, and they go around. Then I just sprinted back to my car.
Did you hang around? You went back and you left after that?
I left after that because more people were stopped, and I kept going. Somebody called the cops, and like everyone's called the cops. Cops aren't away, so I'm like, all right, that situation's done. But what was weird at the time, if I could redo anything, is I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know what was going on. I see this kind of chubbier Mexican dude run across the highway, and he jumped over the median, and he's running. He's in a wife beater, and I see him get hit by a car. Whack! And I'm like, holy shit, he's dead. In my head, I was like, he's dead. I keep attending to the kids. Then he pops up, and he keeps running. I'm like, what in the fuck? What is that, Mexican RoboCop? Like, this is insane, dude. Is that the Mexican Terminator? I'm talking, it wasn't like 20 miles an hour, like beep. It was like, whack! And he goes on the top, boom, hits head on the, I'm like, he's dead.
Wait, this is on the one-on-one?
One-on-one.
How the okay, there's the car going 60.
Well, everyone's going slow, but that car, right. Probably taxing, listen to Justin Bieber and boom! Yeah. And then he was just like, Tyson Fury getting knocked out by Deontay Wilder was like, like the Undertaker, got up, and I was like,
damn, you saw that while that's happening.
All that happened. So the timing that happened while I'm running to the car. I see a guy out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, why is he running away? Boom! I was like, he's dead. I keep going, and then I look back. I see him pop up. I'm like, it's the toughest Mexican I've ever seen. And then I kept going.
Like that's the thought process.
Yeah, I was like, that's insane. Good for him. But no, I didn't know that was the dad trying to kill them. So I get a call from because I go on my podcast to talk about it. Then I get a call from the cops, from CHP and the police station in Woodland Hills. They, hey, we need you to come in for, to document whatever. And they go, also just to confirm the story. And they go, we're getting a lot of calls from TMZ. We just want to confirm this. And I was like, TMZ? They're like, yeah, we just need to confirm the story. And I was like, yeah, I'll come in. And I said, I want to be clear. I'm not please don't tell TMZ I'm coming there. I don't do any interviews. I'm not doing this for fit. I don't want anything to do with this, man. He's like, I know we just need to confirm your story so it lines up. And he goes, because that dad who did that was saying he didn't mean to, and it was an accident. And I was like, oh, no, it's not an accident. He goes, that's why we need you on record. So I'm like, all right, come down there. So I tell the same story I just told you guys. And the cops are listening. The cop has a laptop there, and they're listening. And he's, you want to see something? I go, yeah. I didn't know this. On the highway, there's cameras. They see everything, dude. It's like Big Brother. Dude, he goes, so he's going, he times it up, hits play, and shows, the accident, then shows my car right behind it. And he goes, that's your car? I go, that's a GT2 Porsche. He goes, yeah. There's not many of those. You go, right? And then shows me pull over. And it's not like great HD footage, but you can fucking tell. And then you see me running, and I had a white shirt on, some skinny jeans, and Gucci boots. And he's like, that's you run? I'm like, God, I look like an asshole. And I'm running, and I'm like, that's me. And he's like, yeah, what you said is exactly what happened, man.
Schaub is a very odd individual. Now, a lot of what he said there was true, but he couldn't help himself and just had to lie. When the truth is probably just good enough, and you're a hero anyway, but he had to lie, and we have some witness testimony here of him lying about that story he just told. First and foremost, the most obvious lie when he was like, yeah, and TMZ wants to know about it when he asked the police station. It's like, yeah, dude, you would go on TMZ in a second and talk about that. You talked about it the next day on your podcast, and you're talking about it on this dude's podcast. Let me assure you, if TMZ hit you up to talk about it, you would have talked about it. But let's get to the more serious lies. So, there were other witnesses on that scene. This woman named Campos. Now, very interesting thing. When this first happened, I made a video about it. And this woman actually hit me up on Twitter to say, hey, I was there. Brendan Schaub really is a hero. So I never really thought much about it. But she did an interview with bjpenn.com, and let's see what she had to say. Campos was one of 3 cars directly behind the attempted wrong-way crash. Campos, Schaub, and another woman all pulled over to assist in any way possible and as fast as possible. Campos and others saw another man whom she believed to be Taurus hit by a vehicle. So far, Brendan Schaub's story is true. Showed up to the thing. Schaub did say there were other people there, a Mexican guy and a Mexican woman. As I'm asking Schaub if he called 911, I heard the thunk and looked over it and saw the guy get hit by a black SUV, Campo said. I can't confirm if it was a Durango or not, and I said that to the police when they took my statement, but he definitely got nailed by that car. Schaub and others began to attempt to open the now mangled door, needing to smash the window to get inside. Schaub described handing the youngest child over to a woman. Campos was that woman. So remember, they couldn't open the door, smash the window, get the kid out. Now, according to Schaub, in that story he just told, he then proceeded to get the other children out and talk to them and do a whole song and dance and give them a motivational speech. But Campos says different. He gave me the baby, and I just kind of started focusing on the other kids, Campos said. Myself and the other lady, her and I were really focused on the kids and just staying with them. I did lose sight of Brendan at that point because that must have been when he left. He just took the one kid out, handed it to the lady, and then left. He didn't take out any other kids. He didn't sit there and talk to the kids and give them a motivational speech. No, Bappa had a dinner to go to. Remember, now after all this, he still showed up to the dinner with blood on his clothes. But just say that. Don't then lie and say, well, I got the first kid out, made the joke about him. But then I went right in for the second kid, and right in for the third kid, and right in for the fourth kid. By the way, he got the story wrong. There wasn't 4 kids. There was only 3. So he doesn't even know how many kids were even in the car because he just got the one kid out, handed it off, and then took off because there were other people there. And that's good enough, but the fact a lot, and then say he sat on the side with the kids and talked to them. This lady's like, he handed me the one kid. We got the other kids. He took off after he handed us the one kid. I don't know. Pretty narcissistic. It's like a Chris Kyle situation. Chris Kyle's this amazing sniper. There's no reason to lie about all this other stuff you didn't do. Brendan Schaub, what you did was good enough. You don't have to lie and add all this extra stuff. But hey, that's Brendan Schaub. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.